Thank you, Pat. It's great to be back in Los Angeles. I'd like to take a moment right at the beginning of my remarks to convey one of the more important pieces of news you're likely to hear while here at E3. Tomorrow, May 12th, 1995, will be Yogi Berra's birthday. Yes, his 70th. So we all need to prepare ourselves for a heavier than usual onslaught of Yogiisms from radio and TV commentators. And if I may, I'd like to kick off the birthday observance by repeating my own personal favorite of his. When I come to a fork in the road, I take it. Now that's not only vintage Berra, it's also good for kicking off speeches. It can even be construed without an awful lot of effort to be representative of what I'm about to say today. I'm going to discuss choices. I'm going to discuss change. And E3 works as a pretty good symbol of some change our industry is experiencing. Here is this great big show designed solely for interactive entertainment. CES, great success that it's been, was never really designed for us. It related better to an older culture. It forced some of the most creative companies on earth to at least figuratively put on gray flannel suits and, well, sort of fit into a TV buying, furniture selling mode. But even that worked okay until recently. Now, interactive entertainment has become far more than just an annex to the bigger, broader electronics business. And frankly, I don't miss the endless rows of car stereo speakers and cellular phones. We've broken out to become a whole new category, a whole new culture for that matter. This business resists our catastrophes. It defies conventional wisdom. But all of us, including me, understand it better. And sometimes, in order to do that, we give in to the temptation to simplify things. And then, invariably, we make mistakes. This morning, I want to question a couple of assumptions about interactive entertainment that I see gaining greater and greater acceptance today. Assumptions that I believe are mistaken. What are they? Myths, really. And like all good myths, they are persistent and persuasive. That's a Jack Kennedy line if anybody's got sources. There are two of them. The first is about PCs and the likelihood of that platform eating the game business for lunch. The second incorporates the assumption that the success and failure of our business will always be measured by our acceptance among 6 to 17-year-old boys. Let's look at them one at a time. It doesn't, in truth, take much thought to see why the first myth has become as prevalent as it is. Examining some of the facts of the PC as killer whale theory, we often find the following. Multimedia PCs have sold fast over the last 2 years. They are, at first blush, obvious platforms for the increasingly sophisticated games our audiences are calling for. And those PC sales numbers will be a compelling message to game developers out there. And you know, if I've just spent $1,700 to $3,000 or more on a new multimedia platform for my home office, don't I want to get as much use out of that expense as possible? Well, sure I do. Multimedia platforms have some technical advantages over TV-based systems too. PC monitors typically offer better resolution than TV screens. And back to the developer community. If I develop games to the PC standard, I don't have to pay anybody a royalty. Another reason for me to look inquiringly in this direction. But now, let's examine these in a little more detail. Digital News and Reviews tells us that 10% of U.S. households own a multimedia PC today. That's about 10 million homes. Now that's an extraordinary increase over the year before, when only about 3 or 4% could make their own money. These are impressive numbers. On the other hand, 30% of U.S. households, and that number is about 30 million homes, own and use a video game machine today. We predict that by 1996, that percentage is going to be between 35 and 40%, or 33 to 38 million households. Now, if you're a developer and interested in the big markets, where logically are you going to look first? Last year, a PC game that sold 200,000 units would be an enormous hit. That 200,000 units is good business by anybody's definition. But a hit dedicated to Sega or Nintendo games, on the other hand, sold 1 to 3 million units in the U.S. Now, with thousands of PCs games introduced this year, the average unit sale in that arena will be 20 to 30,000 units. Dedicated game titles are only coming out at a rate of a few hundred per year. So the average unit sale will be over 100,000 units, and it will still sell millions of units. At this moment in time, and for the foreseeable future, let's face it, Sega, Nintendo, and maybe a few others in our business are still the only real big game in town. Now what about this business of, hey, I just bought an expensive computer, I want to get as much use out of it as possible. Let me get off the academic level here and get down to daily reality. If we're talking about a young adult who just bought a computer system, has no kids, and might want a little diversion on his work platform, I'll buy this argument all the way. He'll buy 3 or 4 PC CD-ROM games. But that's not a rule in America. That's an exception. It's far more likely that 3 to 42 years old, I bought my PC to work at home, to organize my domestic life, to try new educational software, maybe to join my friends and family on the internet, whatever. And yes, I have kids. And after resisting the pressure for months, I finally go out and buy a game for my 10-year-old boy. He's happy looking at the box, seeing the fun he's going to have. He can't wait to get started. It tells you about that even as you're peeling off the shrink wrap. You slide that baby into the slot, hit install, and you get one of several messages. All of which basically say, surely you did not think it was going to be this easy. Now we're talking time on telephone hold with the software company's 800 line, their customer service people. We're talking more trips to the computer store. You're upgrading DOS, for instance, because of that pesky insufficient memory signal. I mean, nobody told you that you needed 8 megabytes of available memory to run that game. Or you're reconfiguring the soundboard after you spend 2 hours looking for the documentation. And Macs aren't immune from all this either, trust me. So the story goes on in most houses for hours, and then finally the supreme moment arrives, the music pipes up, the animation begins, it's working. And then you realize, hey, I don't know if I want my 10-year-old playing anywhere near my home office and the business plan I just spent 2 or 3 months creating. So the next morning you make another trip to the computer store to buy a shell. That means every time you turn the computer on, he can only get to his game. But that means you need to take extra steps to get around his game. So why do we buy this thing anyway, you begin to ask yourself, to entertain young Brandon or to help my business? It's at this point, I believe, that the prospect of spending a few $100s on a dedicated machine that plugs and plays on a much bigger screen in a room far better equipped to handle your son and his friends starts to sound like a pretty good investment. I think people who dismiss the dedicated game platform have never gone through this. People who write about technology are, for the most part, pretty adept at technology. They judge computers, understandably, I think, like you might judge any high-performance technical machine. If it develops a quirk or two, that's the name of the high-tech game. But in our game, we know things don't work that way. If you're truly going to succeed in the consumer business, your product has to work perfectly, right out of the box, first time, every time. Now, is Windows 95 going to deliver the kind of idiot-proof operability that someone like me needs? I think over time the answer is probably yes. Certainly that's where it's aimed. But that's still a ways out there. And by then, the game business will be still further ahead in delivering the next generation entertainment experiences. That's what we're about to consider. A PC that could marginally run some of the newer games talking about today will require a Pentium 120 megahertz PC chip with Windows 95, a 3D graphics accelerator, 16 megabits of RAM, and more video RAM. And that's not your average multimedia PC. This is power user stuff, hobbyist level stuff. And even if it were available today, it would retail for over $3,000, well over. Now, please don't get me wrong. Multimedia PC game sales are going to increase rapidly. It's going to be a great business to be in. And in the very near future, Sega will be getting into it. See, we're approaching the fork in the road, and we're taking it. But the truth is, PC games aren't going to kill game machines any more than VCRs kill the movie business. The myth I'm dealing with let's not forget, is the kind of all or nothing assumption I see too much of. It will be PCs or it will be dedicated game machines. That's like asking, will it be sports cars or minivans? The answer is both do great things. Both are optimized for different functions. 70% of the whole video game business today consists of fast action and sports titles. A concept that most of the multimedia PCs shipped last year and this year cannot deliver. Most publishers today believe PC entertainment software sales will level off at about 20 to 25% of total entertainment software. But even this kind of market share predicting tends to miss a much bigger vision of the future of home entertainment. It looks at what most homes have now and extrapolates from there. I want to move outside of that box. I think even the amazingly sophisticated games you're going to be seeing at E3 today only hint at the kind of immersive experience consumers are going to be demanding in years to come. That's going to be delivered by big screen TVs, surround sound, home theater stuff that will move the whole question away from the level of, will it be in the home or the home office? Because it will be neither. This will be multi-dimensional, truly interactive experiences that will involve the whole family, and they'll take place in a room dedicated not to sleeping, not to work, but to entertainment. Maybe the real message here is that our business is simply going to be more difficult to analyze and predict. Remember, kids and adults alike are going to be more exposed to the fun and excitement of interactive games in the next few years than they've ever been before. They'll be seeing them on airplanes, in hotel rooms, and in their homes via the Sega Channel. Where the Sega Channel exists in our rollout markets today, we're seeing game purchasing activity increasing by 35%. The Sega Channel is the first online example of electronic delivery of games in a mass market way. We will build on that in the future with Saturn, and it certainly gives Sega a distinct advantage. Am I suggesting a Sega game play every home by the year 2000, along with the chicken in every pot? Absolutely. But in the forms and platforms we haven't yet dreamed of. This is a business that is ready to explode, and there's room for plenty of competition. PCs are not the enemy. Set-top delivery is not the enemy. Not if you're the largest content provider of software, as Sega is. Now let's move on to the second myth, that your life and mine will forever depend on the whims and attitudes of the 6 to 17-year-old market. I hope some of what I just finished saying about greater consumer expectations will begin to put the lie to this idea, because this once hard and fast reliance on a singular age group and demographic is changing and changing fast. In 1992, the market was 61% dominated by 6 to 17-year-olds. In 94, the figure was 55%. Now our reliance, Sega's reliance on the age segment has dropped to industry average. In 92, 62% of our sales went to them. But in 94, the number had dropped to 51%. In other words, 49%, almost half, of our business is already with adults 18 or older. And that trend is going to continue. We're going to see a broader-based group of ages and demographics buying interactive entertainment, period. Most savvy industry analysts completely agree with this. So the game companies begin to ignore those 6 to 17-year-old boys, our original group of consumers? Do we begin turning down the heat on a former life support system? Let me use this platform to ease any concerns in that direction. Sega's answer is no. You'll hear lots of talk today and in the days ahead about next-generation systems. The appeal to older players from those games will be obvious, but we're not forgetting the group that put us where we are. We will still make the hot action titles. We're not forgetting there's an array of budgets out there, nor are we forgetting the aspirations of the young observers of this industry. We've long noted that when you skew your product line toward the young, there's little room for growth. So as we begin to skew our products forward and toward an older, more sophisticated consumer, we're giving kids room to realize their aspirations. We have hot new products awaiting launch on all our platforms. As just a sampling of this, let me mention Comic Zone, a Genesis product that represents a whole new game genre, bringing the nation's #1 print medium, comics, to life. licensed characters to game. Brings the ultimate high-end arcade technology into home systems. Retail. For Genesis, there will be 55 new titles this year, for 32X, 40 new titles, and for Game Gear, 35 new titles. And as I noted before, the job of analyzing this business is going to get harder. Predicting revenues was never the simple population modeling exercise that we all wanted it to be. Now the variables we will all have to consider will require even finer-tuned crystal balls. But that doesn't mean we're not going to work at it. Let me take a qualify myself in this business of defining markets for the years ahead. Number 1, 2, and 3 in that list of qualifiers is that I work at Sega. I don't believe there is a company or individual in the industry who has a better sense of the mind of the consumer than Sega. Yes, we got our start in the arcade business, learning about gamer expectations a quarter at a time. We've had to provide arcade entertainment so interesting, so compelling, and so addictive that you put quarter after quarter in just to increase your score. And that means something. We are the largest creator and marketer of arcade and consumer interactive entertainment in the world. I noted that one of my best friends among the competition said in a recent article, our heritage claim was much overused. Trust me when I say this, if any other company could claim the heritage of 40-plus years of understanding the mind of the game player, it would. What it's yielded us is unqualified in the most important criterion for success in this business. We create interactive entertainment hits in and outside the home. No other company does this. There's a new consumer mind out there, older, more affluent. This is a group that has positively proven it can be drawn to gaming when gaming delivers the kind of immersive experiences they want. To those of you who point at Myst as an example of the kind of CD game young adults want, I say that's right. And we'll do that kind better on our CD-ROM game platforms. Only our games will be faster, more sensually overwhelming, far more social and interactive. So what matters to this new consumer mind? It all boils down to this. People want a great immersive experience that helps them relax, escape, compete, win, and most importantly, have fun. No matter what kind of tech talk you hear in the next few days, and we'll certainly be contributing to that, the game is what counts, not what makes it great. In early movie days, it was technology. The first to deliver sound, the first to deliver color. So too with games, the first to deliver great speed, the first to deliver realistic sound and color. Now we believe our Genesis 32X and Sega Saturn technologies are better than their respective competitors. But we realize it's the software the consumer cares about. We're at the point where the experience of the game, the story inside the game, is what matters. Suspension of disbelief. It's always been the fundamental component of diversion, whether that diversion was books, theaters, or movies. Advances in gaming mean we will come to supply that component more effectively than any other medium. The interactive entertainment business is going to allow the Walter Mitty and all of us to finally realize our dreams. We're going to become great hockey players, race car drivers, football players, or aviators for that matter. We're going to move into new worlds that were formerly only available to us in our dreams. Now this suggests some obvious changes in the games of the future. Side-scrolling games, for all the fun and success they've brought us, will ultimately give way to newer, more complex genres. Now please note this, I said ultimately give way. A long time from now. We expect to sell millions of Sonic and other great side-scrolling games over the next 2 or 3 years. So am I talking about a revolution here? Not really. But I am absolutely saying it's time for the press and the analysts to take off their cautionary hats for a change, to move the meter a tick or so to the right, to see that this is an industry that merely paused to take a breath before resuming its stunning growth pattern. This is a $5 billion industry that was $1 billion 8 years ago. And it's going to grow, my numbers, 9 or 10 billion by the year 2000, whereas the link is 11 billion. Okay, up to this point, a lot of what I've said has been pretty qualitative in nature. Do I have any historical data to offer you? Yes. Let's look at the experience to date in Japan. Sega Saturn has already sold 1 million units there. We anticipate that Sega Saturn's first full year in Japan will yield sales of 2.6 million. Now, if you conservatively translate that to the U.S. market, we expect to sell over 3 million units here in the first full year on the market. We think we'd sell more, but the extraordinary success in Japan means some limits to the supply in the U.S. are inevitable. We believe Sega Saturn sales in the U.S. before Christmas will be in the neighborhood of 600,000 units. You may have seen some argument in the trade press between Sega and Sony about who sold the most in the Japanese market. Well, we did. But the import of the sales figures go way beyond just who sold more in one key Asian market. Together, the sales are fantastic. They mean a broader market than we've ever experienced before. They mean we get to that $9 or $10 billion number I referred to earlier. So how can Sega and others in our industry make this rosy picture come true? By going to the next level as quickly as possible and at a price as low as we can manage. That's how. But you do that. I can't speak for my competitors, but I do know the kind of products we're bringing to market soon are going to hit that bigger, broader group of consumers like nothing's ever hit it before. They're going to push the bounds of what great arcade technology can do, but they're going to do that on people's TV sets at home. We're launching Sega Saturn with great software. Here's Daytona on Sega Saturn. Daytona is the #1 grossing arcade game worldwide today. Our audiences say they want 360-degree immersion, great production values, super 3D visuals and stereo sound. Games like Panzer Dragoon will more than satisfy them. And now, with the help of my able and charming assistant, Tim Dunley, let me show you what a top arcade hit worldwide looks like on the Sega Saturn platform. Virtua Fighter is the best fighting game ever done. It's #1 in Japan, it has a cult following, and it's already the top 5 arcade hit in the U.S. and Europe. There is computer modeling, animation. All of these fighters were real fighters, real human beings practicing different martial arts skills. Computer captured their motion, and then we generate these records. We're generating many hundreds of thousands of textured polygons per second. Oh, you lost? Or did you win? You won. Oh, good, Jen. And that product on Saturn looks as good as it does in the arcade. And here's a quick look at some of the other Sega Saturn games consumers will be choosing from at our launch. Now, those games are either all done or days away from completion. Here's one that isn't done, but will be ready by Christmas. As Yogi also said, you can see a lot just by looking. And after looking at that stuff, I find it hard to believe young adults aren't going to find these games appealing. In fact, I believe everyone will find these games so irresistible that people are going to make the time and the budget to buy and play them. Is there developer motivation? Judge by yourself. More than 100 third parties are now developing Sega Saturn software for 1995, and we anticipate a full library of 80 outstanding third-party titles on retail shelves by Christmas of this year. I think the bottom line, perhaps the understandable bottom line behind any media and analyst comments regarding market saturation, is simply blown away by this kind of product. And I'm not completely naive. I'm sure my competitors, well, in due time, will be showing similarly outrageous, similarly engaging experiences that are going to be appearing on your TVs. The kind of technology under the hood of every Sega Saturn will deliver the leapfrog forward our new consumers demand. Sega Saturns employ an orchestra of engines for that leapfrog result. No less than 3 Hitachi 32-bit RISC processors are used for the main power. 2 video display processors generate character and gameplay images and background graphics. A custom sound chip and a digital signal processor yields up to 32 voices in CD quality audio. But I said the message wasn't technical, didn't I? The fact is, parallel multiple processing, such as we employ on Sega Saturn, makes bit counting an obsolete exercise. If you want to play that game, we could say Sega Saturn's a 128-bit system, but I won't do that, I promise, because gameplay of graphics, speed, control, sound, and game design, all yielding magic, not bits. Gameplay will be evaluated on the magic it provides, not on some technical notion of bits per dollar. And our marketing will exploit that. The full thrust of our marketing efforts will be directed to make the consumer know how he or she will feel when playing Sega Saturn. You and the consumers will be hearing a lot from us and a lot from everybody as our business approaches this new level. In advertising, for example, as our industry gears up for the higher tech machine launches, you're going to see some dramatic increases in expenditures from the business as a whole. For 1995, we're looking at $250 million in projected media buys. And that's just from the major manufacturers. That figure is up from $125 million only a year and a half ago. $100 million of that $250 million will be from Sega alone. And believe me, we don't spend $100 million unless we're confident of success. If you add in the kind of media purchased by the big retailers, such as Toys R Us and Walmart and Target, the figure balloons to $500 million. A keynote speech is no place for a point-by-point explanation of our marketing plan, but I hope you'll forgive at least some details about one of the more obvious components of the plan, our advertising. If Sega advertising to the millions of teens and young adults we consider our primary audience has been, well, occasionally shocking, it has also been honest and genuinely funny and communicated enough sense of product so that those TV sophisticates, the cynical 14 to 25-year-old, knew we weren't just preaching to them. Well, advertising to an older crowd isn't going to be any easier. In fact, I cannot imagine a product category with a closer connection between successful advertising and product successes. But we're not backing away from the challenge. On the contrary, I think we move even closer to the edge. We might even be establishing new edges. This is not going to be simulation of gameplay so much as depiction of how the game player will feel when engaged with Sega Saturn. Our vision is to replicate the sensory overload this kind of gameplay will induce. The advertising objective? To create such a desire for the games that they will literally sell themselves. Here's a 60-second spot that we will be running as soon as we can manage.
Welcome to the theater of the eye.
Rods and cones report to the orbital side.
How nice. We're trimming the toenails. What's that?
This is the brain. What's going on down there?
Here's what's going on! Go get it!
What else can go wrong?
Surgeon Synapse on line 2 is the sphincter.
I guarantee you every 22-year-old in North America knows what a sphincter is and why a game makes it react, even if the rest of us have to think. Now let's look at two 30-second spots that ought to be equally effective in grabbing people's attention.
Welcome to the theater of the eye. 500,000 polygons a second. Wreak some havoc in your head. Welcome to the theater of the eye. Real sports.
Keep it down a little.
Keep you fast.
I am gonna need some help.
There you go.
Forever.
So get your rods and cones ready. Our advertising is very different. We're communicating how the body, the eyes, the ears, the nerves, and yes, the sphincter react to this new immersive experience. I think when Yogi said fork in the road, he meant opportunity. When he sees opportunity, he takes it. So do we. We're taking all the opportunities we can to make this business soar. And since I began my remarks with an announcement, I may as well finish with another. We started our rollout of Sega Saturn yesterday. We're at retail today in 1,800 Toys R Us, software, etc., and electronic boutique stores around the U.S. and Canada. Our retail price is between $3.99 and $4.49. We have 10 software titles at retail in the next few days, 20 by August. Our total rollout will take the summer to complete, but we're starting today in store and starting today on primetime TV with these commercials. Sega Saturn is not only here now, it's out there. Thanks. It's been an honor.
Way back.
Start with a tape recorder.
The world's first successful transistor radio.
The combination that started it all. Smaller is better. And bigger is way better.
Looks good, but how about something bigger? Yes.
A movie the size of a paperback.
Roll tape.
Over 100 million walk. Shouldn't that be walking?
Camcorders the size of a paperback?
Okay, let's get this started.
What's a record? What's a cassette?
Now this dish redefines the word menu. Sony Digital Delivery Systems for every media.
What's next? Interactive in 3D. Big deals that don't have to be big. Be big.
Sony, the total entertainment company, is now into the game.
In 1991, Sony established a new division to focus on the burgeoning multimedia marketplace, the Sony Electronic Publishing Company. Sony Corporation of America CEO Michael Schulhoff appointed Olaf Olafsson as president of this new operation. As president, Olaf directs worldwide operations for Sony businesses that include Sony Computer Entertainment of America, Sony Computer Entertainment of Europe, Sony ImageSoft, and Sony Psygnosis. He also oversees sales and marketing operations for Sony's CD-ROM manufacturing business. At the same time, Olaf finds time to write. To date, he has written 3 novels, a collection of short stories, and a play. His latest novel, Absolution, has been published by Random House. Forbes calls the Iceland-born Olafsson, quote, a top-notch Nordic novelist who may become that true rarity, an Icelandic Nobel Prize winner. And the story doesn't end there. Olaf is also a physicist from Brandeis University. In total, his background reflects a synthesis of talents and knowledge required to run a technology and content-driven business. Without any further delay, I'm pleased to introduce you to Olaf Olafsson.
Good morning. Thank you very much. You can tell from the video that I don't represent a conventional video game company. This morning I hope to show you why that may be the best news our industry could possibly receive. I'm going to start by discussing this industry that Sony is about to enter, the interactive entertainment platform business. But first let me note that I'm pleased I'm not welcoming all of you to Philadelphia. By that I mean that it's obvious to us all that we are not in a tent. Instead, for the first time, we're indoors at our own trade show. Industry momentum, accelerating to the tune of $5 billion in annual sales, has moved us from the CES parking lot. And it's no coincidence that Sony's PlayStation introduction coincides with this development. There is significant activity underway in the marketplace, and now is the time for a definitive technology. 5 billion in sales is an impressive achievement. But as we move forward, we need to look carefully at where we're headed as an industry. As an industry, we need to ask the questions I'll attempt to answer today. How can we expand our audience and in turn our business? How can we move beyond the current dip in the hardware cycle at 16-bit and reach our 6, 7, 8, or even $10 billion potential? The answer, simply enough, begins with technology. We all know our business is cyclical. Advances in technology come and go about every 5 years, 4-bit, 8-bit, 16-bit, and each new technology has promoted growth in both hardware and software sales. Now, however, we're in a position to grow much, much faster. In the 16-bit past, technology certainly got us closer to achieving our creative goals, but not nearly close enough. And this is evident by the pending collapse of the 16-bit platforms, which we're all witnessing much faster than anyone anticipated. Let's look at 16-bit technology for a second. Two-dimensional animated sprites that made it nearly impossible for the creative community to move beyond riddle-based puzzle-type games. Look at sports games, games where the consumer craved realism. The software community certainly did its best to deliver, but it was still extremely restricted. In the movies, it would be the equivalent of directing a film where the hero could only move from side to side, and the special effects consisted of a scrolling background. Imagine a rich film like The Shawshank Redemption. How compelling would it be if Tim Robbins or Morgan Freeman could only speak for 20 minutes without reducing the frame rate or without losing colors or motion? And the computer platform doesn't offer the answer either. Computers are designed for easy access to entertainment. With all entertainment software, consumers expect plug and play. They want to plug in the hardware, insert the software, and begin to play immediately. Tom Kalinske and I agree on this 100%. This urge for instant access to entertainment applies to all content media, and always has. To books, to compact discs, to video cassettes. If you buy a book and want to read it immediately, there's no problem. If you buy a CD and want to listen to the artist instantly, it's simple. If you rent a film and want to view it within minutes, you only have to push a button on your VCR. But if you want to enjoy your new PC CD-ROM game, you might have to spend an afternoon, a rainy Sunday afternoon, on an 800 number, finding out how to load the software. It's an extremely frustrating experience for the average consumer. The consumer wants a dedicated game-playing platform, not a multifunction one. My point here is that our future lies in delivering easy access to enhanced entertainment driven by much, much better technology. It's the only way we keep on top of our target, the gamer. We must surprise the gamer with a new level of interactive entertainment that will sustain and grow his interest and attract new consumers. If it's true that entertainment consumers are demanding, then our gamers are demanding to the nth power. Our key consumer is the digital kid who expects technology to be different every day. He can't remember anything before MTV and the PC. He lives in a fast-moving technoscape with the soundbite and the 20-second commercial as he eats shop radio for breakfast. The internet is his lunch. But if we continue to serve him 2D scrolling games, he'll leave the table. As a result, we'll never grow as an industry. So the question is, how do we become dinner? We become dinner by finally delivering on that much-used phrase, next generation. And that's just what we at Sony have in mind. Next generation technology has to provide immersive entertainment, the immersive, evolving technology of the Sony PlayStation. It's a huge difference in interactive entertainment, and the whole industry is going to benefit. As an industry, we must learn from the experiences of other entertainment media. Media which have consistently delivered technological advances to enhance entertainment and to stimulate industry growth. We would never be watching them today without better technology every step of the way. Sound, color, advances in camera equipment, sound stages, special effects. Just look at the difference between King Kong and Jurassic Park. Today's audiences demand to be wowed, intellectually, visually, and emotionally. And entertainment today needs to target several senses. The same applies to television. Advancing technology has always been critical to its popularity. The move to color, stereo sound, bigger screens, visual radio with the advent of MTV, VCRs added on so that TV could better deliver the movie experience in the home. TV stayed on top of the public appetite through improved technology. It's a medium that kept its audience by diversifying. So why am I talking about history? I'm doing that because the video game is, at its heart, in the entertainment business. And like the movies and television, our entertainment content grows from better hardware and better technology. Noticeably better interactive entertainment technology will free up the creative community and our content will improve. And since gamers buy the entertainment content, the rush of the experience, they'll buy more entertainment, but only if it's better. I believe we are certainly capable of advancing the industry. This $5 billion business, which many of you in this room have created in a remarkably short period of time. An industry as big as the domestic motion picture box office. And today we have the attention and the dollars of entertainment's biggest consumers, the gamers. These consumers are more inclined to buy interactive entertainment than anyone ever before. Move up with it, and there is no adjustment curve. If you look at how movie and television entertainment improved over the years, you'll notice how much more believable the entertainment became. This is a lesson our industry must heed. Movies and television made it easier and easier for the viewers to suspend disbelief. Viewers encountered technology which became more invisible to them. The technology delivered a more seamless experience, which ultimately became more involving entertainment. Pre-next generation game technology still makes it impossible for the gamer to suspend disbelief. The digital kid will not get immersed in a 2D world with substandard graphics, animation, and sounds. We've got to get him pulled into the game, to the story, and to get him immersed. This is the immersive entertainment I alluded to earlier. PlayStation, superior technology, was developed to deliver an immersive, totally absorbing entertainment experience. Sony is a company dedicated to delivering better entertainment through better technology. And we've long been an innovator on both ends of the entertainment pipeline. We invented the transistor radio, portable music with the Walkman, the camcorder, the VCR, and the beginnings of the digital era with the compact disc. Everything we do is entertainment. From all sectors of consumer electronics to motion picture studios, music labels, TV series, home video, movie theaters. And all of this heritage has been invested in the PlayStation. The technology and entertainment will deliver with the PlayStation a mainstay and not ancillary to any other businesses. Sony's commitment to the future of interactive entertainment, where hardware and software come together. Sony's belief in a full partnership between hardware and entertainment is reflected in Sony Computer Entertainment, the first Sony company to house hardware and software under one roof. This translates into a flow of resources between PlayStation technology and PlayStation Entertainment, and it also translates into a cooperative flow of resources between Sony Computer Entertainment and Sony, the global entertainment company. The PlayStation represents a tremendously significant product launch for Sony, and we are completely dedicated to its success. From research and development, to manufacturing, marketing, distribution. Start with product design by one of Sony's brightest technologists, Mr. Ken Kutaragi, with the benefit of Sony's 20-year digital heritage. Take up with distribution by Sony's global distribution network. Continue with more than 350 roles by Sony employees dedicated to software. Conclude with the allocation of marketing resources on a Sony scale for the PlayStation. What do you get? Well, let's take a quick look.
In the gaming world, a little ripple just isn't enough to get players into the game. No one went too deep with this. Even with plumbers, this was kind of weak. To what level did they need? But now, it's time for a station break. Introducing Sony PlayStation, the breakthrough that takes gamers deeper into the game. It's totally immersive entertainment, and it forever changes the rules of the game, putting players in command of the most powerful game console ever. With multiple custom Sony processors, it's the rush of power, man. Equivalent of 500 million instructions per second. It has the power of a 3D graphics workstation, but it's just for fun. Once gamers check into the PlayStation, they take fate into their own hands. Real 3D action. Multiple views, incredibly co-creative entertainment. From the world's best game developers. First-person gaming from the company that's always first in entertainment technology, Sony PlayStation. Intimate gaming.
Thank you. The talent behind PlayStation Entertainment now encompasses more than 400 and developers worldwide. And today, as we speak, all of these forces already are producing a new standard in interactive entertainment. Names that include Electronic Arts, Namco, Acclaim, Interplay, Virgin Interactive, Time Warner Interactive, Crystal Dynamics, Sony's own studios, and many, many more. The proven winners are now on the PlayStation team. PlayStation technology begins with a commitment to CD-based technology. A commitment that means television video quality and CD audio quality, which the ROM-based cartridges cannot touch. A commitment that also means short production cycles and investment in the best games, not the biggest inventory. Huge inventory costs and the risks associated with ROM-based cartridges are about to become a thing of the past. PlayStation technology continues with a powerful engine delivering digital experience. Multiple processors that carry the power of 500 million instructions per second, the same power found in high-end workstations. Broadcast quality sounds and video at 30 frames per second. 3D animated graphics generated in real time, multiple camera angles, and hyper-realistic simulations. A system named for the power of a $50,000 workstation, harnessed for game play at a somewhat more affordable price. And that brings me to the retail level. What about the PlayStation at retail? That's the true test. The technology and the entertainment delivered by the PlayStation will create tremendous excitement at retail. All of our PlayStation promises will be realized through retail pull-through. Consumers will be surprised by the power of PlayStation's technology, absorbed in unequal interactive experience. They will be sold in the names behind the PlayStation games. If events in Japan are any indication, consumers are going to vote with their dollars for the PlayStation. In Japan, under the leadership of Mr. Terry Tokonaka, Sony Computer Entertainment has sold close to 1 million units of hardware and 4 million games since the launch in December. Now let me get to the best news of all, aggressive pricing that brings this only true next generation system into the home. Some of you might actually want to know what that price is. Since it's a beautiful day here in Los Angeles, I'm going to ask Sony Computer Entertainment President of America, Steve Race, to join me for a brief presentation. $299. This should put to rest these rumors about Steve being long-winded. With this price, a $299 retail price, we've achieved a magic mass market price point. This good news will be realized at PlayStation's launch, which, as Steve announced last night, will be Saturday, September 9th. Then the gamer will find more than 20 titles at over 12,000 retail outlets nationwide. I hope that I've painted a compelling picture of the future of our industry, that it will not only maintain its current market, but grow that market to the benefit of us all. The total entertainment pie is substantial, and as an industry, we are now in a position to enjoy a bigger slice than ever before. We at Sony believe that improved technology will light the path to a renaissance for this industry. And in partnership with the creative community and the retail community, we look forward to a bright future empowered by technology but continuously renewed by creativity. I hope you'll enjoy this first truly dedicated interactive entertainment show. Before I leave the podium, I'm going to ask you to sit back for a few seconds and watch a short video, and I thank you for the time you took to listen.
The University of California School of Law. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Howard Lincoln.
Thank you, Pat, and good morning, everyone. Well, this certainly is a week of great excitement and celebration for the interactive entertainment industry, and that's especially true for those of us who have been involved in this business now for over a decade. For one thing, this show focused on our specific form of fun serves, I think, to validate interactive entertainment as a permanent form of consumer recreation. The days when this business could be dismissed as just a passing fad are fortunately long gone. And the future of this business would appear to be very bright indeed. But like any relatively new and growing industry, we do face some challenges. That's what I'd like to talk about this morning. Incidentally, last week the Wall Street Journal said that some people in this industry think that I'm either a visionary or an idiot. I'm not really sure who these people are or which side of the fence they're on, but just to avoid any confusion, I've decided this morning to wear my visionary hat. I suspect that there may be some in the audience who think that the challenges that our industry faces are distinctly Nintendo's. After all, isn't Nintendo the company that is still pouring significant resources and creativity into 16-bit video games, when the industry seems intent on moving onward? Well, yes, we are, and we intend to keep doing it. We have no plans to abandon this huge installed base as long as we can continue to make entertaining games. And isn't Nintendo the company launching Virtual Boy, an entirely new type of video game? One where the interface is a pair of goggles instead of a TV screen where the graphics are truly 3D, but still monochromatic. Well, that's us. We're confident that game players are going to love not only this new entertainment experience offered by Virtual Boy, but that they'll especially like the suggested retail price of $179.95 for this 32-bit experience with the game packed in. But no question about it, Nintendo has its own challenges, and I'm very confident that we will meet them. But the challenges that I'd like to talk about this morning are really not unique to Nintendo. They happen to be challenges that impact every interactive entertainment company. Certainly, one of the biggest challenges that we all face is how to continually entertain and excite our core consumer. Of course, in our case, that's the avid video game player, young and old alike. Let me explain how Nintendo has, just this past week, responded to that challenge. It seems to me, as a veteran of nearly 15 years in this industry, that the peaks and valleys of video game business over any given period of time mirror very closely the relative entertainment value of our games. I suppose you could even build a business model to show this. I call it the Game Player Boredom Index. And put another way, every time someone creates a video game masterpiece, they raise the entertainment bar for everyone in the industry. Let's face it, game players always recognize quality, and they enthusiastically flock to it. Witness the 7.5 million Donkey Kong Country cartridges that we have sold worldwide since last November. Likewise, once we give consumers a Donkey Kong Country, they naturally expect that everything else out there on store shelves and everything to come will be just as good, if not better, in terms of entertainment value. And it's this never-ending quest for better games that's really behind our decision to move the introduction of Nintendo Ultra 64 in North America and Europe to next April. Once we introduce Donkey Kong Country, I'm afraid we find the gold standard for 16-bit games, and at the same time, we necessarily set a much higher quality standard for our 64-bit platform. I can tell you that Silicon Graphics and Nintendo have created an extraordinarily powerful new hardware platform in Nintendo Ultra 64, one capable of presenting seamless real-time 3D graphics. The SGI Nintendo engineering team has done its job. The Nintendo Ultra 64 chipset, the hardware, is essentially completed. But over the past 2 years, SGI's graphics technology has also enabled Nintendo to raise the entertainment bar on 16-bit gameplay. Our new Killer Instinct and Donkey Kong Country 2 games for the Super NES, which are debuting here at E3, and which will reach game players later this summer and fall, simply raise that quality bar even higher, beyond Donkey Kong Country, and certainly in my mind, to a level equal to any of the 32-bit software being exhibited here at E3. What this means is that the quality of video games now under development for Nintendo Ultra 64 simply must be better, much better, not just a little bit, but a lot. And Nintendo is going to take the additional time necessary to achieve that level of quality, period. There's simply no question about it. In effect, we've changed the rules again on ourselves and our third-party publishers. You will see completed Nintendo Ultra 64 games this November in Tokyo at the Shishinkai trade show when we officially unveil the new product. And of course in Las Vegas at the Consumer Electronics Show next January. In reaching this decision, and in meeting this particular challenge, we have, I believe, to remain faithful to the people who purchase our games and expect to be entertained by them. But every company must wrestle with these questions of quality and timing. And my purpose here this morning is to move beyond those kind of internal decisions to what I consider a far more dangerous challenge that confronts all of us in the interactive entertainment business. One which applies not only to Nintendo, but to Nintendo, Sega, and Sony, and indeed to all entertainment software publishers, regardless of hardware platform. And the challenge that I want to address this morning affects every person whose livelihood is dependent upon the creation, manufacturing, marketing, and distribution of interactive entertainment. And as I introduce this challenge, I must admit that at first glance it appears rather benign. This innocent-looking thing is known as the video game copier, a machine to make counterfeit software. And the one displayed here is marketed under the name Super Wildcard. And that name is certainly appropriate because into the future of interactive entertainment, that's precisely what it represents. The Super Wildcard and products like it immediately expand the already daunting problem for software counterfeiting into the borderless reaches of cyberspace. And there, the prospects for protecting our businesses, for protecting our employees, for protecting the products of our imagination are downright chilling. But before we move into that future, let me start by talking about what exists today. Over the last few months, we've all been bombarded with numbers that try to put the counterfeiting story into context. For example, the Business Software Alliance recently estimated the worldwide loss of pirated business software at over $15 billion per year. Counterfeiters are now putting a dozen albums worth of popular music on a single audio CD, selling it for a couple of dollars. We know that bootleg copies of Disney's Lion King video were widely available throughout Asia, long before the legitimate product hit the store shelves here in this country. But I want to concentrate solely on the impact of counterfeiting to our interactive entertainment industry. We conservatively estimate that the loss to counterfeit entertainment software, whether for play on home video game systems or personal computers, is at least $5 billion per year. Let me focus a little more narrowly. In the last fully reported fiscal year, Nintendo realized $4.7 billion, all attributable to sales of home video game products. And our nearest competitor, Sega, had revenues of $3.4 billion, of which $2.9 billion were directly attributable to home video game sales. Now, I think it's fair to say that along with a number of independent third-party publishers, Nintendo and Sega pretty much define the current video game industry. But this assessment ignores a third major player, the counterfeiter. Worldwide revenue losses to Nintendo and its third-party publishers last year alone from all pirated activity came to approximately $2.5 billion, and I suspect that Sega had comparable losses. So while it's common to look at worldwide market shares like this, Nintendo and Sega products are high, in fact, there is a much more accurate way to represent the current state of affairs. In the real world, there is a third major player, the counterfeiter. And his piece of the action is the most profitable because he sells products of Nintendo and Sega and others without bearing a nickel of our development, distribution, and marketing costs. There's always a temptation, I think, to ignore the danger of counterfeiting, to consider it just a cost of doing business, and to write off anti-piracy programs as a legal expense, something for our lawyers to focus on. Indeed, why am I even up here today talking about this problem when I could probably wax eloquent about the social benefits of playing video games or buying Nintendo products? Well, I'm here today because I happen to think that it's absolutely essential that we talk about this problem. This is something that requires heightened awareness on the part of all of us to play a role in what we hope will continue to be a growing business. And if we ignore this problem or fail to keep it in proper perspective, we do so at an ever-increasing risk. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the bad guys happen to be getting much better at their work. Make no mistake about it. Let me show you what I mean. At the left is a copy of the legitimate Nintendo cartridge for one of Acclaim's mega hits, Mortal Kombat 2. And at the right is an all but identical counterfeit version. In many cases, the games play equally well on the cartridge. In fact, what first alerted us to counterfeit versions of Donkey Kong Country, here shown on the right, were complaints from game players in some parts of the world that they couldn't save their progress when they turned the game off. The counterfeiters, to further increase their profit margins, had simply eliminated our battery backup. The impact of this counterfeiting problem is overwhelming, and it shows every sign of getting worse, much, much worse. We estimate the potential size of the worldwide market for legitimate interactive entertainment products at something between 2 and 3 times current levels. Now think about that for just a minute. We're not just talking here about a challenge to the interactive entertainment business, we're also looking at a tremendous opportunity for this industry. Just imagine what it would be like if we could market legitimate entertainment software in places like China, Southeast Asia, India, the Middle East, Russia, and Eastern Europe, free of counterfeiters who are now polluting and destroying these potential markets. Consider this. The Software Publishers Association recently compiled a list of nations with the most egregious counterfeit markets. Here are the 4 worst offenders. Of all of the software currently in existence in India, 87% is counterfeit. Thailand, the percentage exceeds 90%. The former Soviet Union, 95%. And in the People's Republic of China, virtually every software program in a nation of over 1 billion people was stolen from its rightful owner. In fact, in China, counterfeiting has actually become a growth industry. Combined, these 4 nations that I've just listed are home to more than 2.3 billion human beings, or 44% of the world's population. And many of the people in these countries are now or will soon be able to afford our entertainment products. So if you believe that the interactive entertainment industry is healthy now, think what it could be like if it existed as well inside of the borders of just these 4 additional nations. And that, it seems to me, should be our goal, to expand our legitimate business into these new markets. But the impact of counterfeiting is more than just the corporate bottom line. Right now, the clear majority of all software is created right here in the United States. And the growth of counterfeit software undeniably threatens the jobs of hundreds of thousands of Americans who directly create and market software, including a number of people in this room and many here at E3. Well, how do we deal with this problem? At Nintendo, we've been trying to answer that question now for over a decade. And the experience we've obtained has taught us a few things. As we see it, effective deterrence in any country requires at least 3 things. First, there must be laws which fully protect the creators of intellectual property. Second, the will and ability to enforce those laws must exist, and that means both stringent customs work and constant, diligent law enforcement. I must tell you that we at Nintendo regard the work of the U.S. Trade Representative's Office under the leadership of Ambassador Nikki Cantor as the single most effective means right now of ridding this planet of counterfeiters. But the protection of intellectual property around the world should not be the responsibility of the U.S. government alone. It seems to me that all governments need to recognize that there is no safe haven, and there should be no safe haven for pirates, whether they board ships as in the old days or manufacture fake products in violation of somebody else's property rights. And it doesn't stop just with governments. Unless industry as well is a full and active participant, and I mean time and money from every viable company within an industry, enforcement will fail. And in the case of the interactive entertainment industry, it means that relying on Nintendo or Sega alone to fight video game counterfeiting just will not cut it. Every company here, every company at E3, big and small, must do its share in one way or the other. Finally, deterrent number 3 would seem to be the easiest: simple understanding. But in some ways, it's the most difficult. I suspect that some governments may actually see short-term economic gain in counterfeiting and either condone or actually support it. What they fail to realize is that in the long term, severely hampering the birth of a native information and entertainment software industry within their borders. Here again is the super wild card. Let me tell you a little bit more about it. It's an accessory being manufactured right now in Taiwan and Hong Kong, which is readily available around the world. It attaches to the Super NES or the Sega Genesis, and in non-technical terms, sucks the computer code right off the silicon and deposits it directly onto a floppy disk. The cost is not cheap, $200 to $500. But obviously this is not a big obstacle. Currently, sales of these devices in Hong Kong alone are running at fully 40% of the unit volumes of 16-bit consoles. And the reason is simple. That investment makes possible the perfect copy of any available video game cartridge in the world for the minimal cost of a floppy disk. In fact, while you wait, parlors utilizing these copiers have sprung up throughout Hong Kong, where a consumer can walk into a shop, point at 6 or 8 his favorite video game titles, and walk out carrying floppy disks containing maybe $400 or $500 worth of hit games for just a couple of dollars. And the impact? Well, consider this. In Hong Kong, a market with an installed base of over 500,000 16-bit hardware systems, Sega recently reported that initial sales of its lead releases last year, Sonic and Knuckles, totaled 200 pieces. 200. And if you think Hong Kong is a long way away, take a look at this. Here's an advertisement in a current issue of a U.S. magazine, a well-respected U.S. magazine, offering, and I quote, add-on video game systems that hook up easily to existing systems, end quote. The payoff, according to this ad, parents and players rejoice. Pay 60 cents a game, not $60. Rejoice indeed. What this device represents is the explosion of video game counterfeiting into the limitless, borderless, and all but lawless reaches of cyberspace. And in that sense, we in the video game business now face all of the dangers which have confronted PC software developers for some time. Because like it or not, our software is posted on network bulletin boards as soon as it comes to market. In a sense, though, our task is even more difficult. Because instead of enforcing morality among adults perhaps interested in a single spreadsheet program, we're faced with explaining ethics and intellectual property rights to a world full of teenagers ravenous for our form of entertainment. Make no mistake about it, cyberspace is different. This is a world where every user is a potential illegal distributor, and that distributor is extremely difficult to detect or even identify. What's more, if he's suspected escape is quite simple. Unlike the typical video game counterfeiter working with millions of cartridges over tens of thousands of square feet of manufacturing space, the cyberspace pirate can destroy material evidence in the matter of a few keystrokes. For those who believe that cyberspace holds the greatest promise for individual writers, artists, or even business people, let me suggest that in the near term, those who may benefit most are the lawyers and the crooks. And as a lawyer by training, yes, I do distinguish between the two. What is yet to be balanced in cyberspace is the right to freedom of speech on the one hand and the right to privacy on the other. And it's here in this matter of understanding that the greatest challenge lies. Because unfortunately for many on the internet, it would appear that the right of privacy is interpreted differently depending upon whose privacy is being. On the part of the individual, privacy is seen as an absolute right. But to some, corporate privacy in the form of protected intellectual property doesn't seem to exist at all. In the words of the presidential group exploring the information infrastructure, quote, there seems to be an attitude by some on the internet that you check your copyrights at the door when you enter that domain. Mary Beth Peters, the registrar of copyrights, recently called the internet the biggest copying machine in the world. And author William Gibson, who coined the term cyberspace in the early 1980s, also established the now familiar dramatic conflict between so-called heroes in the form of computer hackers against villains cast as evil multinational. Unfortunately, some in the media have accepted this nonsense. They too sometimes celebrate the hacker hero. And this in turn has acted to help authenticate the absurd rationalization, and I quote, information wants to be free. This, of course, has all of the inherent logic of the auto thief who explains to the police that the minivan in your garage just wanted to be free. What's more, this absolute freedom of information is demanded by some, itself threatens the information infrastructure. Most would agree with Clinton administration official Sally Katson, who warns that people will not use the information infrastructure unless they have confidence that their information is going where they want it to, when they want it to, and nowhere else. In other words, protection of personal privacy is essential, but the same protection should hold true for corporations. You can't support one and not the other. Freely disseminate proprietary information owned by corporations, their legally protected intellectual property, is to strip it of commercial value and in turn destroy the promise of the information infrastructure. Without the profits of those original Donkey Kong arcade machines back in the early 1980s, there would have been no revolutionary Donkey Kong Country for the world's video game players in 1994. That game alone required an investment of millions of dollars in time and technology, a figure that few hackers can afford. When counterfeiters use cyberspace to freely distribute somebody else's software, the future truly is undermined. Because when worthy content is robbed of its commercial value, the people who create it find something else to do for a living, and the content just never exists. And thus, the legal protection of information is not a threat to cyberspace, but rather its greatest asset. And to help protect that asset, a committee of the Presidential Task Force on the Information Infrastructure is currently finalizing a series of proposals, including changes to existing U.S. copyright law. These changes will provide additional protection to intellectual property in cyberspace, and they deserve this industry's wholehearted support. Now, not everyone may share my views on protecting information, especially some of those on the internet. So this morning as I began speaking, a copy of my remarks were entered into the Nintendo corporate bulletin board on America Online. You'll also find it at our website on the internet. I look forward to hearing from those who may disagree with me. In conclusion, let me repeat that the global protection of intellectual property is absolutely essential to fully expand the potential of readily exchangeable information and entertainment. It's vital in order to nurture the development of legitimate and valuable national software markets in nations like China, where counterfeit goods right now smother all opportunity. And it's also vital in this country. Today, in the U.S., thousands of small companies are struggling with success in the emerging field of multimedia. And the potential for what they can produce is enormous. The ability to make our lives more productive and more fun, and to do that in a way that no one has ever thought of before. But should any of those entrepreneurs strike it rich and create a breakthrough product that finds an enthusiastic audience, it still must face the threat of counterfeit. And long before that product ever reaches the mass market, its value may well have been stripped clean by people who had no part in its creation, who simply stole it. And that visionary company will disappear. Think about a world without counterfeiters. Think about the markets that such a world would open up for those of us in the interactive entertainment industry. And think about the entertainment products that such a world would foster. Not just the products created by multinational corporations, but ones created by individuals and new companies not yet even born. I think such a world is not only worth thinking and talking about, but it's a world that all of us in this room, all of us here at E3 can help create. Of course it's a big challenge. Yes, it certainly dwarfs the challenges typically identified by corporate executives who naturally tend to focus on their own company's success. But to me, it happens to be the biggest challenge and the greatest opportunity facing the interactive entertainment industry right now. So I urge each of you to join Nintendo and Sega and the other companies in this industry who are out there right now fighting international counterfeit. All of us here at E3, I think, need to speak out against this very serious problem. We need to educate everyone who is entertained by our products about the need for protection of intellectual property. And if we do this, we're going to eventually win this counterfeiting battle, not only for our employees and for our shareholders, but for the sake of every person around the world who enjoys interactive entertainment. Thank you very much.
this was. I know, that's what I'm saying.
Trick, if you hold L&R, you can walk through walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could stop. I just want to see if I can make it to the boss.
Hold on a second. Oh, what do you got there? battle that you have with this guy. So that's a rendered boss right there, basically. Like what's not, I know that you laid it and everything for whatever reason, but like, do you need more or what? Adding more. Oh yeah? Yeah, just making it big. Bigger and better. No, it's a one-player game, but you will be able to switch between the dog and the boy. This is Mode 7 right here. Boss was right there, inside the little bug. There's the volcano up to the left. Checkerboard for another boss. So it's like, it's really, you know, the map is a lot more scenic than some of the like Mana and Demo 3.
Not enough good role players often. He looks cool. I like that guy.
So it takes a little bit more players. But I like Jeffy.
interactive action-adventure sequel game based on it.
have peaceful interaction with the 20th century. And as they say, a warrior for peace is no less a warrior. However, we do get a chance to bend our anger. We will be giving a Bethlehem demonstration at 3 o'clock. It's a chance to let off some steam. Will you be here for that? I would like you to be my personal Bethlehem. You will be here? He is new at this, I'll be honest. What is your name? Ray? Come on. Are you learning all that you can learn? Simulating knowledge.
Judge Rico executed 9 years ago.
I got managed.
You're wrong! What's the English right?
Super Burnout.
at Lord's Nest.
He's taking away from the real world.
You're the hero.
You can do stuff you can't do in real life, like rip somebody's head off and pull their spine out.
When my brother drives, he goes so fast he uses control the car.
Your stomach drops, your heart pounding.
How does it feel?
You know, when trash talk about it, it's over, Bull. Pick your head up off the floor.
So sorry, your grandma plays better than you.
It's a competition.
And at the end, everybody wants to save the princess.
by the way, the chipset ain't done.
How do you know?
Somebody told me.
Who told you?
I don't remember. Somebody told me that they talked to some Silicon Graphics and they said that it's not done yet, but it'll be done by April. But that's just what they said.
At Williams, we're aggressively continuing our leadership role by coordinating game design and marketing under one roof for both the arcade and the home. At the forefront of these new games is the colossal continuation of the Mortal Kombat series. Mortal Kombat 3 is virtually guaranteed to be one of the most electrifying home video game events of the season. And to make sure that this mega event is also a mega success for retailers, Williams is backing up this product release with the most comprehensive, fully integrated marketing program in the industry's history. This year-long marketing strategy includes a major motion picture. And there are also plans for a new syndicated animated cartoon series. Live tours, Mortal Kombat, the book, and licensed products, including action figures from Hasbro. You see, Sean, at Williams Entertainment, we know that the name of the game is sales. And to make this happen, Williams consistently maintains its position as the big name in game marketing. At Williams, we back up all our titles with our surrounding marketing strategy that hits gamers wherever they go, repeatedly. This strategy includes TV, magazine, radio, theater, arcade, and newspaper advertising, in-store promotions, major motion picture tie-ins, and reviews and articles in leading gamer publications. And it's a strategy that, when combined with our thrilling titles, has continuously produced phenomenal retail success. Another example of this retail success is that unqualified cyberspace mega hit, Doom! Wow. Doom is a heart-pounding action game. Part horror, part science fiction, part nightmare. And it's the most successful search and destroy game in PC history. This thrilling hit is a featured debut game on both the Can't Wait for Sony PSX and the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. And in addition to the new 64-bit game platform, another area that's booming large in the future is the PC game market. And when it comes to PC-based games, once again, you'll find that Williams Entertainment is the name in big games. In addition to intense action games like Mortal Kombat 3, our PC titles include entertainment for the entire family, with titles like Super Carts and Island Casino. And now, we've entered into an alliance with GT Interactive Software that will make even more of what these cartridge titles available for the PC game market. But now, to complete the big game picture, Williams is continuing to generate excitement in the handheld market with the handheld version of Mortal Kombat 3. So, from arcade to cartridge to PC to handheld, over the last few minutes, you've seen what makes Williams Entertainment the name in big games. And you've also gotten a glimpse of some of the coming season's hottest home video games. Titles like Mortal Kombat 3 and Doom. That consumers will be fighting to get during the coming season. Because as we all know, retail is a constant battle. But now you have the power to succeed in the home video game market with hot tie-ups and heavy marketing support from Williams.
seats. There's a handle on the front of your seat. Lift your handle and move your seat forward or back. There are 4 VR buttons on the left side of your steering column. You may use those at any time to change your views.
Start your engine.
drink. Is there a special way?
I don't know. What's Eric does it? Never mind. No.
There we go.
Open your brain. That was cool.
What else can go wrong?
Surgeons and apps on line 2. It's the sphincter.
Sick Welcome to the theater of the eye.
How long is this beginning?
Real sports.
Keep it down.
Real fast.
I'll take care of here. I am gonna need some help.
Real pain.
There you go.
Brother. Welcome to the theater of the eye. 500,000 polygons a second.
That,
16 million colors. Wreak some havoc in your head.
Now you may return to the world as you love.
don't zoom at all. Looks like ogre battle. Hate that now with GS on it. I am. How do you start? I don't know. Put his name? Or go on a picture?